Mario Kart Advance, aka Super Circuit, is still a game I enjoy playing even today. I'm not gonna go out and say it's the best Mario Kart ever made, or that it has features that make it worth playing over other games in the series, but for an on-the-go experience, it still does a decent job, and gives that retro-style vibe. Originally, this episode wasn't even gonna be made because of how much little content there is. But I figured an episode is better than no episode, so let's dive right into the beta of Mario Kart Super Circuit. Starting things off is this small clip right here from Space World 2000. It shows a demo of the game, and already we can see some changes from this one to the final release. The first major change I noticed was for the character design. In the original version, it seemed like they had some pretty big heads, almost like bobbleheads. Alongside this, I saw the character hub and noticed that all the character icons got changed as well. It's a little tough to make out, but all the characters are still there, with no one being new or cut it seems. Just the icons themselves having gotten changed is all that happened. Speaking of characters, here's what the original character selection screen used to look like. Compared to the final release, this one's actually pretty different. On one picture we have on the left side of the screen this weird looking star type object with eyes. I could be wrong, but that wasn't in the final game, but if it was, I don't remember what it was for. The same can be said for the other picture which shows the stopwatch, and underneath it some kind of air pump or spinning cap. Your guess is probably better than mine, but odds are these two icons would later be reworked into the battle and versus mode. That's my best guess. Now, because all the unused tracks in the game come from the same category, let's get them out of the way next. These are all SNES battle courses. More than likely, these courses were just used as a temporary placeholder until the final ones got finished. This right here is SNES Battle Course 1. This is 2. This is 3. And finally 4. I know it wasn't all that interesting, but that's why I chose to get out of the way right now. Let's move on with the unused objects and items now. Okay, so for those who played Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo, you all remember the fuzzies, right? Well, at some point during development, it looks like they were meant to appear in the game, at least in the level Sky Garden. No animation or function had been made yet, but the sprites themselves were already designed and ready to go, it looked like. They were found in the Sky Garden graphics, so that's why it's believed that these were at least meant to appear in that level. Imagine what that would have been like. Then we have two unused objects that come directly from the Mario Circuit track. One is a pipe and the other a mushroom. Since these are pretty generic in most Mario Kart games, they probably would have been used in the background is all. The last of the unused objects are from Ribbon Road. We have a spinning and smiling star and some kind of UFO. The UFO has no color palette of its own, so what you're seeing here is a modified version with the present box palette. I'm more surprised that for once something actually has an animation. And an object, I mean. Not only that, but if it's a star, wouldn't it have made more sense to put it in Rainbow Road? Nonetheless, both were found in the data for Ribbon Road and ultimately went unused in the end. We still have unused power-ups like the Golden Mushroom, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. Although in this game it was programmed a bit differently. There were two codes found for the mushroom and how it was programmed. The first one being where the mushroom just lets you accelerate for a limited amount of time, but because of how much you still accelerate and how long the mushroom would last, ultimately that's probably what led it to being cut from the final release. The second code for the mushroom was likely used for testing purposes. It has the same effect but doesn't ever run out, so the player could use the mushroom throughout the entire race. By the way, the footage you're seeing here for all the power-ups isn't mine. I'll leave a link to the video in the description so you can check out their channel. The next power-up is a triple banana. Unfortunately though, only the sprite seems to have been made before being cut, since this power-up does absolutely nothing. Then, ending things off for power-ups is this fake item box. I'm thinking before the programmers could finish the fake item box completely, they left the banana as a placeholder, and eventually scrapped the idea entirely. In the early version of the game, the zipper used doesn't blink like in the final one. I never called it a zipper myself though, I always called it a speed booster as a kid. Alongside this, the jump panels also got changed. They were actually more detailed in the early version of the game, and lost that detail due to the fact that the darkest shade of yellow is overwritten with the flashing red color used in the final version of the zipper. Since we're pretty much at the end of the video, here's the award ceremony. Compared to the final version, it does actually look pretty different, right down to the castle and background. The final release obviously ended up having more detail and animation thrown into it, so either they just weren't finished yet, or needed something to test when you win. And lastly, to end things off for this beta video, we have something I was going to include regardless. It's not beta content, but still something I thought was interesting. See, when I grew up with this game, I obviously had the US version. However, when I wanted to buy the game again, I got the Japanese one. And upon playing it, I found out that in the level Sunset Wilds, the Shy Guys were Native American war bonnets, unlike how in the US version they're just regular Shy Guys. Nintendo probably took off the bonnets to avoid offending anyone. Well, that ends the beta video on Mario Kart Super Circuit. I know this one was much shorter than the other videos I posted in the past, but not much beta content was out there to put in. Still, I hope you guys liked the video. Also, if you made it this far, I want to talk about a small giveaway. For those who watched my most recent livestream, you'll probably remember that I played a game called Gianna Sisters DS. Well, it's a game that I very much enjoy and one I think anyone who likes platformers, especially games like New Super Mario Bros., should play or check out. I found a GameStop about an hour away from where I live had a copy of this game, so I went to my local GameStop and asked if they could have them send it here. They spoke on the phone and agreed to do just that. I'll be including with the game its original manual plus a case with custom cover art. The winner will be picked randomly and announced during my next beta video planned for July. The only rule is you must be in the USA so I can ship it to you. Sorry to anyone outside. So if you're interested, leave a comment. This has been DGN, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you, bye bye.